Hello friends, welcome back. You can start in a child's pose. We are here for a quick 35-minute yoga sculpt. So I promise you will be sweaty and get a nice workout just in the short amount of time that we're together. Let's start by just finding your breath. As always, this is yoga based, so I want your breath to be what drives your movement. As you add a little bit of wiggling into the body, your hips, your fingers, a little sway. Meet me forward in a tabletop and start to move to a few cat-cows, chest opening, spine rounding. Just a quick warm-up here, letting your chest find some space, your shoulders build some warmth, and again tapping into that smooth inhale and exhale before we get bigger and bigger. Pause in the center of your table, find a long flat spine. Tuck your toes and hover your knees off the ground just a couple inches. See how the spine is still flat across, hips in line with shoulders. Now trace a circle to the right side of the room. You're going to keep the spine in the same line, but keep moving past the shoulders and then back behind the hips just for 3 rounds. Keeping belly strong, then reverse the circles the other way. Looks really simple, but you should be feeling a lot of sensation in those arms and core. Let's go one more circle. Then peel your hips back into a first down dog, and don't put too much thought into this. You can just pedal out the knees a few times. Lift one heel, then the other. You can make yourself more at home in this down dog. Getting the little fidgets out, and then pause with the feet. Walk your hands to your feet so you find a forward fold at the back of the mat. You can drop your head, bend your knees a bit, and just shake out any tension. Take a halfway lift with your spine. Forward fold. Now stay low, but sweep your hands behind your back. Interlace the fingers and let the palms fall overhead. Tiny bend in the elbows, just so you're not locking out your joints. Now take a halfway lift from here. Keep the knees soft and fold back in a little deeper. Just making some space in the body. You release the hands down to the ground. Roll your way up one bone at a time. Sweep both palms overhead as you take an inhale and then bring them together at your heart. Again, reach your palms to the sky. Inhale, lift chest, and exhale to forward fold. We'll find that halfway lift again. Long spine. Walk your palms out to a high plank. Now, in order to build some warmth, we'll tap into the triceps. So find your plank and then shift forward a couple more inches. Squeeze elbows in halfway down with your exhale. Inhale back into high plank. Exhale into down dog. We're going to do that a few more times. Stick with it. Roll forward to your plank. Articulate through spine. Elbows in, resist the floor. Push the ground away. Exhale into down dog. Notice how slow it is. You're building control. Again, roll forward, high plank. Elbows squeeze in. Try to take this a little bit slower. Full inhale to plank and full exhale to down dog. Let's give it one more round. Just getting the body toasty for our practice. Elbows in. You can always drop the knees for those chaturanga push-ups as well. Once you find your downward dog, send your right leg to the sky and open up your hip, bend your knee. Just here briefly the first time. Maybe a little ankle circle if it feels good. And then drive your knee into your nose. Step between your palms. Take a low lunge twist. Right hand reaches to the sky. Chest spirals towards that right thigh, but find a little fire in your back leg. Like a little wrist circle here, just to release tension along the way. And then as you circle right palm down, spin the left heel into the floor, open up into warrior 2, lead with that left palm. Settle in as you reach through fingers. Now stay in the legs, but glide your chest forward a couple inches and then pull it back as if someone's holding both hands and you're being the center of a tug-of-war game, pulling forward and reaching back, finding length, finding warmth in the obliques while the legs stay still. And take your reverse on the last one, all the way up and back with an inhale. Come back through Warrior Two. Lengthen your legs, turn your left toes open slightly, and then bend into Skandasana at the back of the mat. You can stay high and lifted, or fingers can come down to the ground for this first time. Wherever you can, keep that left heel glued to the floor, right toes face the sky. Now just switch sides, bend into your right knee, stay low or high, whatever feels right. I'm just making space in the hips still. Now start to rotate to the front of the room. Bring your hands to the inside of your right foot and crawl your right foot a little wider to the outside of your mat. You can stay here. We're going to start with a modification first, building a little fire. Step your left foot forward and then your right foot back. And then your left foot back. Now step in with your right foot, in with your left foot, back with your right foot, back with your left foot. Or soften both knees and start to hop switch your legs. They're landing on the outside of your pinky fingers. You're just trying to build a little more warmth, a little extra cardio burst. Just here for a few. You can be stepping or hopping. And the next time your right foot is in front, take an inhale, look forward. Step your left foot to the front of the mat and forward fold. Shake it out. Let something go while you're here. Find a halfway lift. Crawl the feet a little closer together. So you're going to end up with feet hips distance apart. And then grab a hold of those weights. I'm using 5 pounds. Bend your knees. Bring weights to chest and rise all the way up. You'll start with a squat. So slide your bum back as you bend the knees a lot. Long, flat spine. Weights reach out in front of you on a diagonal, and then elbows pull into the side waist. Inhale, reach. Exhale, pull. Reach, pull. So you're starting with the narrow rows. I like to start with this pretty simple motion. Lots of repetition just to warm the backs of the arms. Also finding a lot of strength in those butt cheeks and thighs by staying in your squat. Now hold the elbows back, take a little pulse. Pulse. Lifting them to the sky while you keep your spine really, really flat. Back into the full extension. Reach and pull. Reach and pull. So you're going to have 8 total of these. Keep going. You're about halfway there. And we're going to take that little pulse again in between after this last one. Pull it back, little pulse, back an inch, back an inch. Let your back get really strengthened here as you keep everything else in the body still. Squeeze shoulder blades. One more set. Reach your arms long, then pull the elbows back. Last set of rows. See if you can find a little more depth in the legs. Drag the weight into your heels. Squeeze into the core a ton. And then pull it back. Last set of pulses. Back an inch, back an inch, back an inch. Maybe you get a little lower. 3, 2, 1. Weights through chest as you forward fold. You'll drop them off for now. We'll have them plenty. It's just a little starting warm up. Plant your palm, step back into a high plank. Take a vinyasa here just as a transition if you want it. Elbows in, upward facing as you roll over toes. Down dog will get the second side. Let your left leg sweep all the way up and back. Open the hip, bend your knee. This first bit of flow, it's going to be simple and brief, and then the rest of it will have those weights moving. Drag your left knee to your chest. Step all the way between your palms and reach your left hand to the sky. Twist. You can play with that top palm. Just give it a little circulation. But let this be about warming your spine especially. Circle the left palm down, back heel glues into the floor, warrior 2, spiral into it. Stay low in this front leg as you take your reaches, shifting forward and then reaching back. Imagine you get longer and longer in the sides of your waist. Those arms are an extension of your chest. So while you're isolating, you're building a lot of mobility as well. Last one takes you to a reverse up and back. Come through warrior 2 to lengthen your legs, star pose into Skandasana, back of the mat, low or high, it's up to you. You can bring fingers down and come all the way, just if that's accessible. But we'll switch right away since we've been here already. Take an inhale with a long spine. Pivot your body to the front of the room. Bring your hands on the inside of your left foot. Same thing here. We've got one more set, this little cardio burst. You can step, right foot in, left foot back, right foot back, or one foot at a time. Start to add a little bend in both knees and hop. You can pick your own pace, your own layer. I'm on my fingertips, so a lot of the work is in lifting those hips up and finding a little bit of core strength at the same time. Do what's right for you. This last one will look forward and step to the top, forward fold. All right, nice and warm. Our heart should be beating. Our breath is moving. Let's take this differently here. Feet as wide as your mat, heels in, toes out, weights come to chest as you find a squat. So the hips are a little more open here in this set. Little pulse down an inch, down an inch. Still have that long, flat spine. That's how you know you're working your core like crazy while you build the heat in your thighs. Outer hips, inner legs. Still working the weight into heels the most. I'm going to scoot back a little bit to add on. Reach your weights down in front of you. Thumbs touching together. Now lengthen your legs and reach the weights out in front of you. Then reach them down as you bend your knees, almost like you want to tap your weights to the floor. They may or may not touch the floor, depending on your squat form. But the whole time, keep your back really flat. So you're resisting the weights on the way down, and then a slow motion swing on the way up. Every time you rise, squeeze your butt cheeks like crazy. Those legs are getting lots of fire here. Keep it going. Doesn't have to be fast to be really effective. Sometimes the slower you go, the more strength you actually build, the more focus on form and alignment, which overall will help you in the long run. Now let's take it low one more time. Find that squat pulse with your weights at your chest. Just once more here. See if you can test the depth. The knees stay behind the toes. Keep breathing all the way through this. We're going to take a little bit more at the top of the mat first. So as you finish your squats, rise up. Step your left foot behind your right and bend both knees. You got this little diamond shape. Elbows into sides for bicep curls. You can stay here, or you could lower and lengthen in the legs. Down and up. Weights down, weights to shoulders. For this, the palms are facing the sky because you're going to have a different variation in a second. Try to curl your tailbone down so you're going straight down, straight up. And if you are playing with that bend extend of the legs, just make sure the knees face the same way as your toes. Always a good rule of thumb. See how that spine is still really long the whole time, not leaning forward or back. And the shoulders soft. Now keep the arms out. Step your left foot wide and cross your right foot behind, just switching sides in the legs. Bend both knees. Turn your palms to face towards each other and take it into hammer curls. It's the same motion. Add the lower and lift of the legs if you did on the first side. Right foot is crossed behind. Core is strong, spine is long, and the arms are bending and extending. I like to exhale with the exertion, so on the way up, when the biceps are contracted, that's when you'll find your exhale. And those thighs are squeezing together. Just a few more of these. You can be holding the depth or lowering and lifting. Now come back through center. Take your forward fold. Ditch the weights for a second. Shake out what you need. And then meet me back in your plank. Briefly here, let's build that arm strength. Take your hands as wide as your mat for wide arm push-ups. These can be challenging, yeah? So take what you need, whether you drop your knees or keep them lifted. You're still going to find that beautiful pec strengthener, chest opener. And it's just one little burst here. Doesn't matter how slow or how fast. We'll get them heart rate picking up a little bit. Just moving all the way through. I like the knees down. It keeps the spine even longer and the core more focused. Almost there. Now this last one, can you hold halfway down? Pause. Take a little pulse. Up an inch. Up an inch. Up an inch. Almost there. Let's go for 3, for 2, For one, press all the way back, child's pose. Drop the knees if they're not already. Settle in. Now this is a very short rest. You're just going to take a breath or two. Let go of the work in your palms and your wrists. But we want to use this warmth and this fire to get us going through our flow. So as you're ready, remember you could always pause the video if you need a longer rest. But we're heading into down dog. Hips lift up and back. Right leg lifts all the way up and back behind you. A little different this time. Open your hip, bend your knee. Tap right knee to right elbow, stay. Slide it over to the left elbow, back to the right. To the left, just tap. To the right, one more time. To the left, to the right. Three-legged down dog. Step through between your palms. All right, little bend in the back knee. Grab your weights, bring them to your chest. Crescent lunge. Keep both knees bent for this. Elbows come in line with your shoulders in front of you, like a 90-degree bend here. Now press straight up with the weights and rebend your elbows. So the only thing moving is the arms. Everything else is solid and stable. Every time you rebend, you hit that 90-degree with the arms. Every time you press, they're going straight up in line with your shoulders. Keep this going. Just because only the arms are moving doesn't mean they're the only things working. Squeeze your inner thighs together. Fire up into your left butt cheek. Maybe you can bend a little deeper into your right knee. Try to soften the shoulders down at the same time. No hiking up. Now hold 90 degrees. Take a little pulse. Up, up, up. It's just an inch of movement. This elbow straight in front of you. Just for 4, 3, 2, 1. Weights to chest. Lengthen your legs. Turn your toes to the left. Now find a high skandasana, bending into your left knee. You can roll your right inner thigh to the sky if that feels right, but reach your weights long and take a wide fly. You're hinging forward, so you're gazing down at the ground, but press your arms out to the sides. We're not going to be here very long. Squeeze shoulder blades together and let the chest open while you stay low in that left thigh with the weight in your left heel. Press, inhale, exhale, inhale. Good. Maybe you bend a little deeper. Almost there. This is a quick one, just a little burst. Plus, these are really effective and you don't have to do them crazy long. Now come back up through center. Take your heels in, toes out, and bend your knees into a goddess squat. Pop the right heel off the ground. Stay center and take a little pulse down an inch. Down an inch, down. You're still bending both knees. Pelvis in the very center of those thighs, but just that right heel is lifted. See, I'm rolling the shoulders down the back, just a reminder to soften there. Now let's stay at the bottom. Drop your heel, take your elbows out to the sides, chest squeeze in and out, in and out. It's that same lovely 90-degree bend in the arms. Feel free to add the legs. Squeeze and rise, press and bend. Squeeze and rise, press and bend. We'll keep this going, building shoulder strength, letting those hips open more and more. Make sure you're breathing with this movement. It's the one thing that's going to keep you steady throughout this. Finding your balance, finding your center, even while you're working pretty darn hard. Now take the little pulse at the bottom, little inch, 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 inch. It's just a nice way to burn out the arms an extra bit. Let's bring weights to chest, lengthen legs, pivot to the front of your space. Bring your hands down, but keep one weight in your right palm. Left hand will come to the floor. Now bring your right weight to your shoulder and then to the sky. Shoulder to the floor. Building that repetition. Shoulder, sky, shoulder, floor. So you're moving through a twisted lunge here. Shoulder, sky. The placement really matters. You're working into your back and into this right chest, but at the same time, you want to unveil. So you'll bend your elbow, then extend, bend your elbow, and extend. Feel free to drop the back knee. This is your modification for this. Still working into the chest, but giving a little more ease in the thighs. Wherever you're working, make sure you're squeezing obliques, especially that left side waist. Plugging left shoulder down your back and breathing with it. Now, everybody drop your back knee. Bring your right weight to your hip and extend your right leg straight back, modified side plank. Slide your weight down the thigh and take a little pulse with this right leg. Right leg is straight, left knee is down, weight is on top of your thigh. And you're just pushing against the resistance, up an inch, up an inch. We're not going to burn this out entirely. We're just getting it warmed up for you into the glute med, to the outside edge of the thigh. But keep the core strong and the left shoulder soft. Now bend your right knee, slide the weight behind your right knee pit, and square your chest and hips and hands. Knee comes into chest and lifts up and back. Bring it in, kick it up. Trying to find that flat spine. Heel is squeezing into your butt, so you keep the weight in place and you work into your hamstrings. Bend and kick, squeeze and kick. Find that crunch sensation on the way in. This is the full range. Now hold it up and take a little pulse. Heel kicking straight to the sky with that weight behind your knee. Try not to dip in the center of your back. You want to keep the core engaged so that you are pushing away from the floor, keeping the ribs zipped in. We're going to take a new layer to this. Hold the leg up, bring your elbows to the floor. Lift your leg a little bit higher. You have to squeeze the heel into your butt more here, but keep going, pulse, pulse. You're off your palms, plug your left hip back, and keep that right leg lifting. It's almost like the heel is coming forward over your head more and more. This targets a new place in that butt cheek. Now, little tiny quick pulse up, 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 just to finish. Keep going a little bit higher if you can. And then bring it down. Short and sweet, yeah? Take the weight out, sit back, shake that side off. If I breathe too loud, I disturb Lux from sleeping. Now, I'm going to face the opposite way, but you can stay facing wherever you are. Just gives you a better view here. Meet me in your downward facing dog. And let's get ready for second side. Left leg sweeps all the way up and back. You'll open your hip and bend your knee. Make sure it's your left side. Bring left knee to left elbow, then slide it to the right elbow, to the left, to the right. Keep the shoulder square, to the left, to the right, to the left, three-legged up and back. Step through between your hands. Little bend in the back knee as you grab weights, rise up, crescent pose. This time, weights glued together, arms above your head, bend your elbows, and then extend. So you're moving into triceps here. Weights come back behind your head and press. I'm gluing the palms together, the weights together the whole time. This way you're getting into the backs of the arms. Lots of stability in the rest of the body to make this possible. So sometimes less is more, right? Less movement, more control, more focus. You can melt the shoulders down just a bit. And every time you press through the arms, you're exhaling. Now let's take a little pulse, up an inch, keep the elbows in the same spot, just lift and lift, core even stronger here. And bring your weights to chest, lengthen legs and turn to your star. Right knee will bend into Skandasana, left toes face the ceiling. Now this time thumbs touch together as your elbows pull wide and then tap. Elbows bend to the sides, then reach. So you're taking this wide row, still working into the back like crazy, but now you get in a little bit more in the chest. I always find this motion to be really challenging. You feel a little bit of mobility happening as well. Pull those elbows back behind you. Make sure the core is extra strong here. Every time you're hinging forward, you're using that core to keep your spine really safe. And maybe bend a little deeper in the right knee. Last few. Rise back up. Heels in, toes out. Bend your knees. Take your horse pose. Now lift your left heel up and add a little pulse. Little pulse. We just got 16 of these. Pressing the thighs open equally and isolating that left thigh. I am feeling everything at this point. I'm also pretty sweaty. Sit a little lower. Drop the heel down. Take your elbows into your sides. Now reach your weights long and then pull the elbows in like a little W reach and pull. Add the legs, reach and extend, pull and squeeze. Reach, sit low. And you're pushing against the resistance. The cool part about this motion is the pulling. That's your focus. Because without weights in your hands, it's tricky to get that muscle set that works only when you're pulling in. So it's kind of like the reason these weights are so useful here. Let's take a couple more. Now squeeze in. Stay low and just serve and pull. Serve and pull. It should be burning a lot. Sit low in those legs. Weights to chest to rise. Pivot towards your left foot. Bring your hands down. Keep the weight in your left palm. Bring your left weight to shoulder, then to sky. Shoulder to floor. Keep going. Shoulder and sky. Plug the right shoulder down your back. Squeeze into obliques a lot. Shoulder and floor. Now, if you keep that back leg long and active, let it be just that. And let it be even more active. Squeezing right butt cheek, firing across the right hamstrings. Otherwise, you're welcome to drop that back knee down. A few more here. We are already almost there. Now drop your bottom knee to the floor. Take the weight to your hip first, just to transition. Left heel kicks towards the back of your space, and then weight slides down your thigh a bit. Pulse against the weight, up an inch, up. Up, we're here really briefly, so lengthen the right side waist. Plug right shoulder down your back, and try to lengthen your neck. This left leg is straight and long for now. We'll get booty, a little bit of core, and then we'll be out of here. And let's transition. Bend your left knee, slide the weight behind your knee, square your chest, and slide it down and up. Down and up. Squeeze and lift. Squeeze that left butt cheek every time you lift at the top. You got a full range first, and then we will tighten it up here, but keep your core extra strong. And kick. Little pulse at the top. Go lift and lift and lift. Soften the elbows just a smidge so you're not hyperextending. And then make sure you're breathing through this. Little lift, little lift. It's not forever, right? But I do have sweet little booty video you could tackle if you want more, but bring your elbows down and take this last little set up a little higher. Little higher, little higher. That's it. Long sides of the waist. Keep the shoulders from hiking up. Squeeze your heel deep in towards your own butt cheek. Here we go. Little double time pulse. This is it. Up, up, up. Squeeze every time. I know it's quick, so make it really tight and controlled. And let's release down. Take the weight out. Release it. We're going to transition through this quickly. Find a seat. You can face any way you like. Just bring your butt cheeks to the floor and plant your feet to the mat. And then bring your weights optional straight out in front of your chest. As you lean back, you're going to pull your right elbow to the floor and then re-extend as you lift. Left elbow to the floor, re-extend. If the weights feel really heavy, if this is challenging your joints, you could ditch the weights and just do the deep twist on the pulls. But the weights add a little bit more intensity. I'm keeping my feet planted to the mat so they don't move. All the work moves into the obliques and the mid-belly. Keep going. Squeeze and reach. Squeeze. Back is staying pretty flat, just rotating towards the elbow that's pulling. Now pull both weights to chest, lean back, and just make this a little bit tighter. Twist right, twist left. Now we're staying on that diagonal, leaning back as much as you can while keeping your center. Still rotating elbow to the floor. That doesn't have to touch though. You can take it a little quicker if you do. Keep the weights really still at your chest. They should not be moving around. They move with your chest, and that's the point. All right, let's lie it down. Stretch your feet to the sky. Reach your weights to your toes. This is also optional with weights. Start to crunch up, up. I feel like I'm sliding the weights up along my shins, trying to eventually reach the tops of those toes. So you want to get higher and higher and higher. Shoulders stay off the ground. You could absolutely do this without the weights. It would just be a normal crunch. You've got so little here. We're just going to do a bit to make sure we're finishing strong. Now, last one, bring your weights to the floor. Stay lifted. Take hands behind your head. Left elbow, right thigh, left leg long. Right elbow, left thigh, switch. Moving into some bicycles as our grand finale. I love a bicycle crunch. Just letting the obliques work one last time. You can close your eyes here. You can go slow or fast. But try and keep your shoulders off the ground and really overemphasize that twist with your exhales. Pretty much just burning out everything that's left, letting those legs move. Now hold on one side. Just hold for 3, 2, 1. Switch and hold. 3, 2, 1. Now hold and pulse. Switch, pulse, pulse, pulse. You've got 4, 3, 2. Switch, little pulse in and in. Try to touch your elbow to your thigh just for 3, 2, 1. Release. Hug knees to chest. Soften down. Let the knees circle out a bit. I'm going to have a very brief little moment to cool here in case you want to do some more work, another video, or your own kind of thing. But grab your right knee into your chest and circle it around. You can stretch your left leg long. Take right knee to right armpit and then twist it towards the left so you fall into the single leg twist. I know you've only just finished the work, but can you slow down your breathing a bit while you're here? Let that be the whole reason for this slower movement. And then switch legs as you're ready. On your back, right leg extends, left knee can move around a bit into your chest. Squeeze left knee to left armpit and then drape across to the right. Heavy in left shoulder and just letting this spine rinse for the last couple breaths. I know it's short, but still a decent amount of work. You should be feeling the arms, feeling the core, even butt cheeks got a little bit. Take a final happy baby. You can grab the feet or backs of thighs. Rock, play with this. This will be your last movement. You can take it longer. You can add some different stretches if you want, or do another one of my flows. Otherwise, give yourself at least a moment to rest, letting your legs extend. I like hands on belly. It's calming, centering. Take them wherever you'd like. And just end by closing your eyes, breathing bigger, slower. Thanks for moving with me. I will see you again so soon.